Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of Geeks and Degenerates Final Cut. Today I am joined by Seb and Enzo. How you guys doing?
Doing good, man.
I don't know, man.
Oh no, bro.
I'm. You mean you're gonna do a video with me
Yeah,
without me? Don't, baby. You're so sexy.
bro. We can't do a video without you, man. You're so
Uh,
you're so sexy, bro.
oh no, man. Ugh. D- don't be depressed. You're so hot.
Stop being
Fuck.
depressed. You're so sexy.
What would you do if I was there right now? Our interests are getting so sloppy. They're just falling apart. They've been falling apart since yesterday.
Yeah, they really are. I think it's all the Alan Moore shit.
Probably.
This is why we shouldn't do themed shit, dude. Like, I've been falling into this pit of despair
Yeah.
since we started with Sin City. I was like, fuck.
So, to our viewers who are watching this video, when it comes up, you'll see that the other videos before this were Watchmen and Sin City. Both, Sin City was also Alan Moore, right?
No,
Frank
No.
Miller.
Frank Miller.
Frank Miller.
Frank
So
Miller.
Alan Moore light.
Yeah, Alan Moore light. Based.
Doesn't say much.
Yeah, Diet Alan Moore.
Diet Alan Moore.
Yeah.
That Alan Moore zero.
Alan Moore zero.
Alan Moore zero sugar.
Yeah. So the one we did before this was Watchmen, which is Alan Moore, and today we're continuing on the Alan Moore train because if you can guess from the title, we're gonna be talking about V for Vendetta. Came out in 2006, and somehow has become a more relevant movie as the years go by. What were your guys' first impressions of the film?
V for Vendetta, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, what's his name? Red Skull.
Hugo Weaving.
Yeah. I didn't watch The Matrix, so I mostly know him as Red Skull. I knew he was a phenomenal actor. I knew he was a phenomenal character actor. It was nice to see him star in something, but of course it's just like, we're never gonna see your face, so no one's gonna really know it's you. It was fucking phenomenal. I just want this guy to do spoken word poetry at every cafe I wouldn't normally visit.
Slam poetry,
Mm-hmm.
screaming. Okay, I'm done.
Natalie Portman is also in this movie, who's never bad in most things, except for Star Wars. The prequels are garbage, and if you think otherwise, then you're wrong. Uh, but it was nice to see Natalie Portman take on something more serious. Not that she didn't do that shit like Leon the Professional or anything, but this was like she did not phone in this performance at all. And to my knowledge, they actually shaved their fucking head, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So like she really put everything she got into this role, which is and you know the movie in and of itself, it's a great movie. Um, which again Alan Moore didn't fucking like, which is just hilarious. He just hates every movie.
Alan Moore never
Every
likes
single one of his-
never likes anything.
He's like, ugh, it's too meaningful. Which is true. That's actually more optimistic than the book.
Yeah, yeah. It's done a little differently than the book for sure.
Yeah.
And so
Well, I tried to finish the book, but since we've been on this binge of novels, I was like, fuck, I can't do it. I'll do it some other time. But I watched the movie solely because I liked Hugo Weaving from The Matrix. You know, I love him. I always love his voice. He has this peculiar voice, especially when he goes, "Hello, Mr. Anderson." But in this one, he shows the power of his abilities where he can convey emotion without you ever seeing his face. You know what he's thinking, you know what he's feeling. Natalie Portman is also great in this movie, as Seb said. She's hardly bad in anything except Star Wars, maybe. But like, there's another one of her best performances ever. And for John Hurt, uh,
Right.
I'm not sure if he's in any other movie where he's the villain, but he makes such a great villain. And he also had such a good. He also has such a very distinct voice where a villain role suits him. But yes, I ended up really liking the movie. And among the other two we did, this is kind of more scary because it's so relevant to our times now.
Yeah.
What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say? Relevant to our times now.
I,
Enzo,
I mean,
you're gonna get us in trouble.
Anyway, that's all I'm gonna say about that.
everything's hunky dory. Please don't get us, FBI man.
There is no war in Ba Sing Se.
There is no war in Bossing Say. Yeah. Seb and Enzo already said a lot of what I was gonna say. I thought it was a great movie. I honestly just started watching this first because I really liked V's design. I just thought he looked really cool. Again, I was really young when I first saw this. I saw it around the same time I did Watchmen. So like I was like 9, 10 at the time. So, But being 9 or 10 at the time, like Watchmen, I didn't really get it back then. It was only upon recent rewatchings where you kind of like, oh, well, shit. And like Seb said, like Seb and Enzo said, Hugo Weaving gives a great performance. I love him as V. But there are some differences between how V is portrayed in this movie versus the book. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but V is portrayed as a lot more morally ambiguous in the
Yes.
books. Yeah,
Yes.
and he's definitely painted as much more of like a tragic hero type in the movie, which I mean, like, I can see where they try to have him skirt that moral gray area because he does do some scuffed shit. Like, he tortures people. He tortures Natalie Portman for like how long did he torture her for? How long did he keep her in there?
Week.
Like a
Like a
week.
good week or two.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She was in there for a while.
The fucking letter. I'm never gonna get over that. That fucking letter killed me.
Yeah, yeah.
And may I just say, Guy Fawkes' design. You talked about his design. I mean, Guy Fawkes. V's design is hilarious. Cause like on the surface, you're like, oh, that's a cool design. But when you really think about it, this guy looks like Zorro Salt Bay. Like Zorro and Salt Bay if he was a clown, and then decided to fight like a Ninja Turtle. Like it's
Okay.
when you put it all together, you're just like, that's pretty funny.
in V's opening shot when he saves Evie from the Fingerman, just slashes the poster. It's like, Voro? Voro?
The Mask of Foro.
The Legend of Voro.
Spend my lifetime loving you.
Played by Antonio Banderas.
Antonio Banderas, you killed my brother, prepare to die. Ah, you killed my country, prepare to die.
Yeah, Natalie Portman also gave a standout performance as Evie. She was amazing in this fucking movie. Like, cause I was saying, like, she did not hold anything back for this one. Like, whatever.
She didn't even hold her hair back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
It's like, take it, go ahead.
yeah, it's like whatever range she had, she just put everything into this movie, and it pays off. I also like John Hurt's character for I guess as little as we saw him, he's a very like, I don't know, like,
I hate him so much.
yeah, exactly. Well, that's the point. He's like super like 1984 kind of villain.
Like, bros, just could you go back to fucking selling Harry Potter wands? Like, I don't want to see this anymore. You're terrible. You're a terrible person. Go back to being human.
Okay, so moving on. We did touch on this a little bit, but V for Vendetta focuses on a very dystopian society where it's basically police. England's basically police state at this point, right? And everything's controlled by the government. Everything's watched by the government. There's surveillance everywhere. They know who you are, and what do you guys think of the world and how it's portrayed in this movie?
So familiar. I mean, there's no
Uh,
Arcosmic say. Uh, I think it's a really well constructed world. You definitely feel it. Um, it's a very dark fucking world.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, like, if I were a dictator, hypothetically, I would also call my police the fingermen. Can you just imagine? You go home from a rough night, and you're like, I just got picked up by fingermen. Like that to me was the biggest mistake of the entire franchise. It's like, why did you think this was a good idea? I haven't read up on why they're called fingermen. I'm sure there's some profound and dark reason as to why they're called fingermen, but I just can't imagine being scared of a fingerman for any other reason than fingermen.
Ends
I
up.
mean,
Oh,
it's
sorry.
exactly a world that could exist.
Mm.
I'm sure some of the countries in the world are already like this. Um, and it's classic Alan Moore. It's classic Alan Moore with a little bit more morality than Alan Moore is used to. But um, he knows how to build a world. And who's the director of the film?
Uh,
James McTeague.
Okay, I'm not familiar with this
yeah.
work.
But yeah, he hasn't really directed anything else of note outside of V for Vendetta. But the Wachowskis who directed The Matrix also played a large part in this.
The Wachowskis are very flawed directors, in my opinion. I'm sorry, I know you guys like The Matrix, but like
I like the
the
first one.
only objectively good Matrix is the first.
First one.
It kind of
Oh,
just degenerates from there.
I hate Reloaded and Trinity.
I mean, I've never seen
Hmm.
any of them. I was too young to care. And as I heard more about the franchise, I was just less and less motivated to want to see it. But yeah, like now that I see that the Wachowskis are involved, I understand now why the action is good.
Yeah,
Um, but in terms of adapting V for Vendetta as a book, this did a good job, but also did a good job of making it easier to consume.
yeah.
Because the thing about Alan Moore's works is that they're great, but not very commercial. It's hard to come out of
They're
that
very
movie and feel
dense.
good. Yeah, yeah.
Is the
It's
thing.
like it was made to put you in a bad mood.
Yeah,
And I think they did a good job of making this feel a bit more balanced than the book did. Um, a little less eternal spotlight of eternal sunshine of a spotless mind. Is that right?
Mhm.
hmm
And a little bit more Rick and Morty. Like it's not a comedy by any means, but like it's a very dark, pessimistic, nihilistic sense, anarchistic sense of the world. But there's some levity in it to a certain degree, like the fucking toast. I still want to make that. It looks so good.
it
But
actually
yeah,
does
like
look really good.
it's hard to like Alan Moore's worlds, but there's a lot of artistic merits to adapting it.
Mm.
Um, so um, this did a really good job of balancing those two things out, like being able to show us an accurate Alan Moore world without necessarily giving us all the repercussions of Alan Moore uh, bleakness and uh, pessimism that has no end.
Right.
Yeah.
Enzo.
That's yeah. For me, what Seb said, I agree with that. This is a very dark dystopian world, but it also for me, this is out of all these movies that we've talked about so far, this is the most rewatchable for me. Because like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
if I wanna just relax and watch a good action movie with a hint of with a lot of a dystopian theme, is what I put on. But I like how the world feels very lived in. You can tell these characters have been going through this for years already, as they said, and the way the characters have to maneuver not to get in trouble by the government, and you hope this turns out well. This it's not like the other Alan Moore movie we talked about, Watchmen, where it's like it might end really badly, but here's like there's a glimmer of hope, like maybe, just maybe everything will turn out okay. And since this is like the only 2 out of 3 Alan Moore movies that are really good to watch, and the other one being League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. It's like, what do I want to watch? Something that has good action, uh, good story, or do I want to see the movie that made Sean Connery quit? But
I
yeah,
kind of do want to see the movie that made Sean Connery quit. I did vaguely see League when I was a kid, but I don't remember it. But I remember my friend who was like young as I was at the time, really liking it. So I do want to see that movie again. I do want to see that movie again.
I've never seen it, so
maybe someday. But yeah, I do like this movie a lot, and the world that's set in. Like, of course, I don't want to live in it, but it's in terms of word building, is very good.
word building.
Etymology.
Sorry. Okay.
Back to bases, boys.
1079. It's a
1086.
reference to our old school. Just
don't worry
for
about
the
it.
people who don't know. Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
We have no time. We have no time to explain where we come from in high school. We'll probably do that some other time.
Yeah,
Yes.
maybe in a future Q&A. But Enzo, you said this was an action film. I'm inclined to disagree, kind of, because while this does have its action sequences, they're mostly just a vehicle for the overarching narrative of this story to come through. If that makes sense.
Mm.
Like, like like just for the sake of discussion, I guess. Like this is more a movie about the its themes of anarchy, control, and I guess like how do I say this? The strength of ideals or ideas, and that's expressed a lot through the action. Because how many action sequences are in this movie? Like 3, 4.
Enough.
Yeah, enough.
That's actually one big difference. Like a lot of the violence in the books were implied. Like that's something that seems to be very common amongst um Alan Moore movies.
Yeah.
Alan Moore based shit. Like one of the things he hates is like the gratuitous violence. That's why he didn't like Watchmen. That's why he didn't like this for some reason. Like a lot of the violence in V books are like implied violence. Like you knew something bad happened, but you didn't like explicitly see it.
Yeah.
And here, like you got it for spectacle. And it was a spectacle, and it made the movie very good. But like, there is a part of me that wonders how they would have approached going the route of implied violence rather than explicit violence.
Yeah, it's Alan Moore writes a lot like how Greek plays were written, where like you have that violence that's very just heavily implied but never explicitly shown, and it does have its interesting points. So I do agree. Like I am curious to see how that would have been explored, but I think for the purposes of it being a movie, because we are talking about the movie for this video, I think they did. I do agree with you, Seb, that they did adapt this world as best they could, and it is, all things said and done, a good adaptation of Alan Moore's world in V for Vendetta, where they represent all the main ideas and themes that I think Alan Moore wanted to present, but also did it in a way that made it more digestible in a movie format, and it's something you can sit through for 2 hours every now and then. Like Enzo said, among Alan Moore's works, this is probably one of the most rewatchable.
Which is fucking saying something.
Yeah, which is fucking saying something. But yeah, I want to move on. I wanted to move on to the characters. So mainly V, Evie, Finch. What are you guys' thoughts on them?
Which one's Finch again?
The cop.
Inspector.
Oh. I thought Evie was great, but I felt sorry for her because
Yeah.
of the fucking torture. That was crazy, dude. Um, the letter stuck with me. I think
Yeah.
the letter will always stick with me. It's the
The letter
thing
was
about
heavy.
yeah, it's the thing about V for Vendetta I'll never forget. Like no matter if there's anything that'll drop from this movie, I'll never drop the letter scene. Um, V is a great character, but I don't like him as a person.
Yeah, like I think
No.
I think it's very well established that he's sort of a shitty person slash lunatic.
Yeah,
As much as the movie tries to paint him as a hero sometimes.
like this is like I like Alan Moore's work as like hypotheticals as fiction,
Yeah.
but like anyone who thinks that Alan Moore is correct needs help. Alan Moore, in and of himself, he's quite the lunatic. He's an anarchist. He doesn't really believe in social order or anything. He believes in like a world where people are like sufficient enough to self-police. I just don't think that it's viable. And V is a person who really just wants to destroy the establishment, without any real idea of how to build it.
Yeah.
Uh, but I think he's a great character to make people think. I think that's the point of these books that give us this hypothetical uh, dystopia of a world and give us, something to make us wonder: Are we all doing the right thing? He definitely does that. Uh, Finch, I think, represents the viewer or the
Yeah.
reader rather. Like, uh, if the status quo starts being something to question, whether or not you're allowed to do so, like, what are we gonna do? And he actually does start to question it, and he comes to the realization that everything they've been told is a lie and actually kind of joins up, which, is quite the optimistic way of viewing the world nowadays, weirdly enough.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know how fucked up the world has to be for Alan Moore to be a bit too optimistic about the world?
Ay,
Yeah.
ay.
Yeah. In this movie where a little girl is literally shot.
Mm-hmm. For dancing.
Yeah.
It's like Footloose, but with dictators.
Foot- Footloose, but in
It's like Footloose,
1984.
but with it's like Footloose, but with death.
Yeah. Footloose Extreme.
Yep. BMX Footloose.
It's funny you say Finch represents the audience though, because that was exactly what I was gonna say about Finch. Like I literally had that in my notes. Like Finch is the audience slash viewer.
I'm sorry.
No. Like it's great that like that you got that too,
Yeah.
because like I rewatched the movie and I was thinking to myself like I was trying to think of the characters and it was like the fuck is Finch supposed to be in this story, and it took a couple minutes of me mulling it over,
Yeah.
and you're right, like he is like the viewer, because he's this guy who is just a part of the society, doesn't really know anything, and he's just put in that position where he starts to learn things and ask questions and see that maybe not everything is what it looks like, and
Yeah.
there's more underneath the surface, and it does pose that very interesting question of what happens when you dig deeper, and
Hmm.
um, what happens when you find the answer and it's not exactly the answer you want to hear.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and um, before I go on though, Enzo, would you like to answer?
Prayer.
Some brightest day and black stump. Like, no. Um,
Oh.
I won't say this, but there's a very interesting parallel between V and Evie, where he is reborn in fire and she is reborn in the rain. I just find that imagery very interesting and something I found that really stuck out to me watching it this time around. The arc of Evie is really cool and at the same time really sad to watch because she has to go through this arc in the most fucked up way possible, where she has to be in prison and tortured within a week. Uh, but she comes out of it stronger, and definitely a very different person because she was willing to be like, I want to help out in any way I can, and we made her go through this because he believed in her. And as for Finch, I like the moment that you see him meeting with Stutler and the rest of the council. You see that he has doubt, or he doesn't want to do what he's doing. Because
Press X
when
to
yeah,
Literally. So,
when Stutler and the council says England prevail, you just see him, this other England prevail, and you see his face. He's like, I don't believe in this anymore. I kind of hate it here. There has to be more than this.
He's just like, Hail Hydra?
hey, Hail Hydra.
Yeah, Hail
Hail
Hydra, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's the best way, the best representation of the audience, as Seven you have pointed out.
I like you pointing out that Natalie Portman was reborn in the rain while V was reborn in fire. That's pretty cool. I didn't actually notice that until you said it.
Yeah, this movie has some really good fucking imagery.
But I also think that Evie to a certain degree represents like the human reaction to rapid change. It does to a certain degree feel torturous. It's kind of like coming out of the Matrix. The concept of coming out of the Matrix. You now have to come out of everything you knew in order to see the truth of the world, and the truth of the world is far from convenient, and to a certain degree far from digestible. Like when you see the world as it is, to a certain degree, it almost makes you feel like you can't breathe. You just can't take it in. You're just losing your fucking mind. Like, you know how that feels. You've been my friend for years. So, like, these things aren't easy to take in, and to a certain degree, like, Evie is the very image of a person who is learning to now accept the inconvenient truth of the world around them.
Yeah, I like that you pointed out change making you feel like you can't breathe, because Evie literally has an asthma attack in the middle of this film.
Yep. Get me my inhaler.
Oh man, but also continuing on the topic of discussing that imagery with V being born in fire and Evie being reborn in the rain. I think it also represents a great development in terms of the idea of what V stands for, or what the people think V stands for. Because V as a character, we learn that like he does spout these ideals, but in the end, he started on this driven by vengeance. And with Evie, when she goes through her transition, she comes out of it as someone who is driven by a hope for the future. And there's a very interesting line. God is in the rain. The letter says that first, and I think it's very interesting because in a way, Evie being reborn in the rain, to me at least, represents
She's a plant. I'm just kidding.
Kind of. No, just the complete development of the ideals that V started, of taking control of your own future, sort of, and taking your own control of the world and not yielding to control. Whereas like V did espouse this ideology, but V is at his core a fucked up person.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's a fucking lunatic. He's a terrible person. He's literally a terrorist, and he knows this, Like he knows he's not gonna live past the 5th of November, and he even says it himself that the world that's coming after the fifth, after his whole plan, is going to be a different world, and it's a world that he can't be in because he's a fucking lunatic who tortures people, and just says this is for personal development, baby.
Hmm. He's like, I can no longer live in this world. I'm too much of a fuck. I lost my train of thought. It was such a good joke. Oh no, like I can't live in this world. I look like spam. Doesn't he look like spam?
He does
He
look
looks
like
like cooked spam. Yeah, I'm sorry. That was the joke.
spam.
Sounded better in my head. I can't live in this world. I look like spam.
I look like spam.
I
I
like
look like I look like something you should add to the egg toast I made. It sounded a lot better in my head. I'm sorry, guys.
No, no, no.
alright.
That's fair. That's totally fair. But yeah. And uh, there's one other thing I wanted to talk about before we move on, and since we have already like brought it up in passing, what do you think of the letter and what it means to this story and what it means to you as the viewer?
Who's gonna start with this?
Enzo, you want to start us off?
All right. When I first saw
What
this
were you-
movie,
When I was a young boy.
sure.
My father took me to the city.
Anyway, when I first saw this movie, the letter was definitely the saddest part of the movie for me. Like it really pulled on the heartstrings, and I, ultimately the moral for me is like, no matter how sounds kind of cheesy, but no matter how bad things get, hope still is a light and can't and shouldn't die. It's impossible to kill, even in the worst circumstances. But yeah, the first time seeing it, it's devastating to watch. It's absolutely heartbreaking to see what Violet has to go through.
So are you telling me even in brightest day or blackest night?
But yes.
Okay.
Well, can you repeat the question to me, Edwin? I got lost in what Enzo said because it was so fucking moving.
What do you think of the letter and how it pertains to the story and what you take away from it as the viewer?
Um, the letter to me hits hard on so many areas. Because I grew up in a lot of environments that didn't accept me, and I got hurt because of it. Most of my life revolved around getting bullied or bullying. Um, and I forgot the name of the girl in the story, but they essentially arrest her for just being gay, and she spends her life, pursuing value, pursuing meaning, and getting to that, and just as she gets to that, the world falls apart. But in that time, she had what, 2 years? Was it 2 years
About two
or
years.
six
Yeah.
Seems
months?
like
Yeah, about 2 years of absolute happiness, and she wouldn't let that shit go for the world. And as a person within the LGBT community who knows that this is still happening to a degree in certain parts of the world, knowing that we could just get killed for something as minute as choosing to love someone a certain way or to have certain preferences of this manner. The fact that we could get killed for that is fucking insane. And the fucking idea that this is still a possibility today, even in the parts of the world that we actually live in, it's fucking terrifying to me. And it's scary and it's sad and it's real. And the truth behind people holding on to these glimmers of happiness, the small moments where they could actually have hope and happiness, I know how that feels too. Uh, I can't ever forget this letter. because I know those moments of bliss. I know those moments of true peaceful happiness that you can hold on to in the worst of times. And this is, as the human race, we have to fucking hold on to this when things fucking fall apart, because it's all we have. Like, the only way to really change the world is to hold on to the best moments you've ever had and act and move forward towards the world that's in front of you. Like, not completely living in the past, especially when you have the opportunity to do something, but to never forget those the best moments of your life, and to be able to live a life beyond those moments to create new ones. But I know the pain that she felt. I'm all too fucking familiar with that pain, and that shit still fucking aches. It hurts to watch that scene, but I can't not. Like, it's the one scene from the movie I'm paying attention to the whole time. Like, I'm not touching anything while this scene is going on. This is like, this is my, what's that thing where you, this is my Angelus.
Mm.
Like the letter scene, have
Yeah.
you guys ever heard of the Angelus? Yeah, this is my Angelus. So like when this scene happens, it just stopped moving.
Yeah.
And for that moment, the only thing that matters is this letter being read.
Redder being
Yeah,
led.
man. Yeah, they led the letter like this way.
The redder.
The redder, yeah. Yeah, man. That letter means a lot to me. I love the scene. I love everything about it. And if you don't watch this movie for any other reason, please watch it for the fucking letter scene.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the letter is definitely one of the it's the most important scenes in this movie, and I think it's what really drives home the whole point of the movie. I don't know about the book, but the movie, right? Which is um, the sentiment that these ideas, whatever they might be, hope, love, uh, no matter how bad shit gets, and no matter how fucked up the world around you gets, um, if you hold on to it and you never let it go, even if you don't live to see all of it change, um, if you pass it on,
Sorry.
if you pass it on, and if you hold on to it and you share it with people, because there will be people who'll get it and who'll empathize and sympathize.
I'm so sorry.
Anyway, it'll all be all right.
All right.
Don't lose hope in humanity. You're so sexy.
God.
Oh god. Can you imagine how cynical I've gotten that delivering messages like this, I actually still find time for comedy? Like, that's how bad things have gotten for me. God. I need help, guys. Just kidding. I'm fine.
Are you? Anyway, not for the video, but let's move on. Let's talk about the ending. So, V kills everybody. He dies.
He blows up Parliament.
He blows up Parliament, and it's great. And there are V-shaped fireworks. What did you guys think of the ending?
Stop. Want to go first?
When Parliament blows up, I'm just thinking, boom! Parang neneng biyang iyong tato. It's a satisfying explosion and everyone looks real fucking happy about it. And it's a satisfying ending. You've been waiting for this particular time. And to see it actually come to fruition and to have this change happen, it's very fucking cathartic. but for no reason at all. There's no Warren Bossing say. It's just nice to see this thing that you had a good amount of doubts in actually pull together.
Yeah.
And V dying being the only way that V could end, because there's no way he's gonna live in the changed world. It's sad, it's tragic, but appropriate. I'm not completely sure about Evie kissing him, but alright. It was a satisfying ending. It's as satisfying of an ending as you can get from an Alan Moore book.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that they had to kill a kid. But I guess 'tis what 'tis. The music playing at the end was great. And everyone just fucking taking off their masks. And like the soldiers pulling like a martial law, like an EDSA revolution, and like going like, do we shoot him? Do we shoot him? Do we don't? I'm not gonna shoot him. That was nice.
Yeah.
That was really nice.
Yeah.
I do like the imagery of when the Stutler's delivering his speech and nobody's watching, nobody's listening. It's like he's lost all his influence and power, and he has. And John Hurt, the late great John Hurt, I should say, does an amazing job of acting like he's having the shit scared out of him when he's encountering V for the very first time in person. He's like, what a great actor that we've lost, unfortunately. Like the only other movie I can think of him in is Alien, but he's been in a ton of other great movies. But yeah, I do like the action scene towards the end after they execute Sutler and the guy's like, "Now take off your mask," and he's like, "No," and they all shoot at him, and the medieval armor protecting him from not being killed outright. I kind of have a gripe with that. It's like not protect him enough to not be killed outright by those bullets, but whatever. And
you know what you chalk that shit up to? He's not real.
Or suspension of disbelief. Like, I buy it. Why not? But yeah, it has a surprisingly happy ending for a Alan Moore, a book based on a movie based on the book of Alan Moore.
A surprisingly hopeful ending.
Yeah, and did you notice when the people were removing the mask? You see the kid that was shot. You see Violet, and you see all the past and present people in this movie.
Wait, was that the kid that was shot, and was that Violet?
Yeah.
Shit.
Who's Violet?
The letter writer.
Yeah.
Person who wrote the letter.
You're fucking with me.
Yeah, she was at the end when they all removed her mask. She and Ruth were at the end. It's like
Fuck off.
She was. So one of those blink and you'll miss it moments. Because I saw the kid, I was like, wait.
So you're telling me the end of V for Vendetta is just one day more from Les Miserables?
Probably. Is he even that way? Sure.
Another day, another destiny. Anyway.
Hey. Shit. I'm gonna have to rewatch that.
Yeah,
I have to rewatch that final sequence. Yeah. Fuck.
Enzo doesn't usually fuck us up, but when he does.
Yeah. Ew. That's. Ooh. I thought like Violet. I didn't. But I thought the kid was like someone who just looked like the kid. I didn't think it was actually the kid. But. I'm gonna have to look at it again. Oh Jesus!
I didn't see that. That's really fucked. Wow, Enzo, you really fucked me up there, man.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you guys noticed too.
Oh man, no, I totally missed that. Fuck. Right. The ending. That fucked me up, bro. Not gonna lie.
I'm sorry.
I didn't know.
Yeah, that had me fucked.
That has me pretty fucked now too.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, the ending kind of fucked up. Kind of fucked me in the brain right now. But also a very appropriate ending, like Seb said, for V. Because he is a tragic character, but he He knows it. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows it. He can't be there for the end. Like, there's going to be a happy ending, but V is not the kind of character who can be in that happy ending.
Mhm.
But also, Seb made a very said something. Seb made a very good point, which is I want to just talk about it real
Parang
quick.
galing being yung katawan.
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
God, no.
I thought it was that. I thought
No.
it was that. I seriously thought it was that. Anyway.
Man. But yes, that kiss from Natalie Portman in the end was kind of weird.
Mm.
Why did you kiss him?
Yeah,
Why'd you kiss him?
yeah,
This guy
like,
tortured you. Why'd you kiss him?
yeah, like,
I understand the handshake.
yeah, like I get it. Like, there's like a bond there, there's a connection there, and like yes, there could be like a strange, fucked up love there, but did you have to kiss him? He did torture you for like 2 weeks. Kept you locked up in a basement. Actually waterboarded you.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Jesus. Oh,
I don't know, man. Not the best taste in men.
I mean, to be fair, she's been stuck in a police state for a really long time. I don't really think she gets around that much.
That's true, I guess. I guess at some point you just jump on the next walking piece of burnt toast.
Well, you can't change the world on an empty stomach, I guess.
I guess.
She just kissed the biggest hunk of spam she could see.
Okay, so we're getting close to the end of the video, but before I finish us off, is there anything else you guys want to talk about? Anything else that you like, that you didn't like, that we haven't touched on yet?
I just want to have the toast, dude. That's really just it. It's the letter scene and the toast that make this movie what it is for me. Yeah. I need it.
I did like the fact that Stephen Fry tried to take a more dramatic role. Like, it suits him. I like Stephen Fry in most things, and especially in this one as Diedrich.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. I've seen that guy in Graham Norton so many times. Every time I see him, though, I'm just like, oh no, it's the gay guy from V for Vendetta. I'm like, oh no, they're coming for you, man. Be careful what you say. Oh god.
Oh man.
This movie is fucking grim.
It is. As for me, there was just one thing I forgot to mention earlier when we were talking about the world, and it just, I wish they would have explained some things a little bit better. Like, what the fuck is interlink?
Why the fuck are the fingermen called fingermen?
Why the fuck are the fingermen called the fingermen? Like, who came up with it? Like, who in marketing do I have to talk to?
I need answers. I'd like to speak to the manager. Yeah. I need. We could have used some more context into certain things with the world. Like, we felt like we lived in the world, but we didn't completely understand how it worked. It's kind of like visiting a country as a tourist.
Yeah.
You kind of just have to accept that shit's the way it is.
Yeah.
And not really ask for more context.
Yeah.
Because you're not staying there for too long.
Pretty much.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah. So yeah, there were things I really like didn't like that much about the movie were like that lack of explanation about the world and that weird bit at the end with Evie and V. Just, let me kiss this plastic mask real quick. Come here, big piece of spam.
I love you.
I love you, spam.
I love you. I love you, spam light.
Anyway,
fuck.
that's gonna bring us to the end of the video. Thank you if you're still watching. Thank you guys for sticking with us to the end. We hope you enjoyed.
We forgot to rate it.
Ah, shit.
8. I'm giving it an 8.
10. I'm gonna give it a 10.
I'm gonna give it an 8.
Wow.
I'm gonna give it an 8.5.
it's an 8. I still don't know what the fucking finger men are, and that's a problem to me. Why'd she kiss him? I don't get it.
Yeah. It's like
Uh,
8.5, maybe a 9 for me. But that's as high as I'll go. But yeah, that'll bring us to the end of the video. If you're still watching, thank you for sticking with us all the way to the end. We hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as Seb enjoys making weird faces. If you enjoyed the video, maybe...
They're not weird, baby. You're so sexy.
Oh god, yeah. God. If you like the video...
You can end the video
God.
without me?
Let me...
John, you're so hot.
Let me do my fucking spiel, man. Let me do my YouTuber spiel, bro.
My bad. Go. You got this.
God. If you like the video, leave a like if you want to see more of our content, because we have a lot of content planned. We always have a lot of content planned. Subscribe, ding the bell icon to be notified when we upload next. Also, follow our Facebook page, facebook.com/geeksanddegenerates. We share we post a lot of other content on there that you might be interested in seeing, including but not limited to highlight clips, shit from our live streams,
Ads for ShamWow,
pop culture news, all that kind of shit. Also, Seb, you've got a big thing in the works. We talked about a little last video, but for new viewers to the channel, maybe care to say it.
All right. So I've been in this creative space for a while, and I do a lot of different things. Geeks and Degenerates being one of them, but I'm reuniting with a couple of the people from the former page I used to be in. But by a couple people, I mean pretty much all of them. For almost all of them for something different, something new, something real creative from us. It won't just be centered around geek and pop culture. It's gonna be centered around anything we want to fucking talk about. It's called Slurp Media. We've already reached 200 plus likes and follows in just one day. So we hope to continue on to this on this train of support and likes from all of you guys. We haven't actually posted any content yet. We're just getting some of our production materials done. And by the time it is all finished, we'll all be up and running. The first stream will be a 4-person stream with every member of Slurp Media there, the members being Gab, which you might know from the Fortnite stream as Cancer. Bon, who if you guys keep up with me and you keep up with Yahoo Video Games, he's Yahoo Video Games. And Ina from Culture Pit, and as you guys know, also my girlfriend. We will all be streaming together on the first stream of Slurp Media, and you guys have seen, like, some people who are here following me specifically, you guys know the dynamic of what happens when all 4 of us stream together. It's basically an Avengers movie, but just jokes and bad gameplay. So we hope to see you guys there when we start the page. I hope to see you guys there when we start streaming. Yeah. I could do with not doing Alan Moore for a good couple months.
Yeah, I think we're all done with Alan Moore.
Yeah. Can we do something happier? Maybe Michael Bay. Just talk about the Transformers movies. M. Night Shyamalan. Have the Avatar movie Ong.
Oh god.
Ong.
Oh god. But yeah, guys, make sure to check out Slurp Media, Seb, Ina, Bon, Gab. They're all great content creators, all amazing in their space, and they make some very entertaining shit together. So if you want to see a different kind of content that's not just geek pop culture centered, make sure to check them out, and check us out on our Facebook page as well for all that extra content we were talking about earlier. But until then, that'll do it for this video. So stay safe, take care, and we will see you next time. Cheers. Ciao.
Girl, you're my angel. You're my darling angel.